So Miles, because of the love of money, he sold us out. He had a clandestine meeting with Edgar Lungu and was paid money.
All right.
And from there, I was out of the country by then. I just saw he never talked to me. He never talked to SG. He dropped the SG. He dropped me as leader of opposition. Then I told him, my friend, you have made a big mistake. You would have dropped me than the SG that you have suffered with. But now, for me that you have touched in this kind of embarrassment, I'll take you on. My friend, you don't touch the schemers. You don't touch the people who castrate things. So the guy, I realize, I'm sure now he's realizing, I know he was watching. He couldn't just take me like that. And from there, we had to call the Central Committee, by the way, the Central Committee that sat to appoint me as acting president. It is not my Central Committee. It is the Central Committee himself that he chose. That's the one which appointed me to be acting president on the 3rd of July. And I know there's a lot of talks. No, we're in court, we're in this. By the way, I was appointed as acting president before we had a court matter and court order and an injunction was done, which was restraining Miles Sampa from making those.
When you say that you don't play with schemers, what exactly do you mean?
My friend, you and me, when we are planning, and between the two of us, you are more knowledgeable of the planning as a planner. I cannot come and kick you out because you have a certain brains that you are using towards the architect. You are an architect.
You are asking me about Chabinga. How can that boy surely begin to become a subject?
Your president.
No, don't even talk about being a subject for which 3 distinguished journalists, one of them that we even exported to UK and came back to be discussing Chabinga at the president of Patriotic Front. Surely, gentlemen, let's be serious.
I don't think that's right, and that's my point of departure, because you're talking about somebody that has been elected by people. You're talking about somebody that you have made a member of your party.
John, can you face the camera? Is that your camera?
And to dismiss him like that.
Can you face that camera and tell the German people that Chabinga was elected by the people?
But he's a member of parliament.
He was elected by the people to be president of PF. Is that what you're suggesting?
No. Yes. You cannot dismiss him to call him a boy. He's visibly not a boy. He's so to reduce him to the extent that we can't talk about him. We can't ask you questions
John,
about.
I have observed that you are reacting to semantics, avoiding the principle. I can call him a boy. He's younger than me. I can call you a boy if I chose. You are younger than me.
I'll take offense.
If you take offense, it's your choice. Akainde H. can call me a boy. I'm younger than him. Edgar can call me a boy. I'm younger than him. It's an issue of basically how you respond to these issues. If you have a complex that suggests that if somebody says you're a boy, then you take offense, maybe it's a different issue. But those are just semantics. The truth of the matter is that Chabinga today cannot legitimately be even given the honor of being discussed as president of Patriotic Front. You know the truth. You know the truth. You know the truth. If you ignore the truth, then the future of this country is bleak.
Let's talk about what happened last week.
So the recognition has been going towards Mr. Morgan Ngona, Mr. Mao Sampa as well, as the leadership of this party. So as the Patriotic Front, what's your reaction to that, considering the current position of the courts, which we know is still an ongoing process?
Even if I worked with your ignorant position, it does not in any way speak to the fact that Chabinga is recognized by the court. Okay? Because the position of the court is that they have injuncted all activities around that shenanigans with Mao Sampa or Chabinga. Chabinga went and had a press briefing in the face of the court injecting any activity that has to do with him calling himself a leader. After he had that press briefing, he even announced that he has expelled everybody and all the nonsense he did. The following day, he apologized and said, I didn't know there was an injunction. Has that injunction been vacated? No. What has happened? The Jack Mwimbu and the guy who was just fired and the other peers from Home Affairs went ahead in the face of an injunction to change office bearers. Today, Chabinga is claiming to be, the president because they fraudulently went and changed office bearers in the face of what the court has pronounced. Today, the court, in Chinsari, the High Court, issued a stay for the Kawamba Council chairperson's by-election not to be held, just like the parliamentary by-elections not to be held. And in Pambasha, what has happened? The ECZ has proceeded in the face of the stay to proceed to have elections, and we have 3 new office bearers in Kawamba, even when the court had made a decision. When I say that the executive is urinating on the judiciary, you say it's
impolite.
It's impolite. But that is what is not transpiring. There is no other nomenclature I can use. What nomenclature can I use?
You could just speak in the literal sense.
Well, maybe give me the right nomenclature that you are comfortable with. No. If the judiciary, for example, is disrespected in their face,
then they're disrespected. That's what you could say. But to the Patriotic Front and some Patriotic Front members, but the Eastern Province was also host to some Patriotic Front members even a few weeks ago at the start of this month, when there was a by-election in Petauke, where some PF members were supporting a UPND candidate, and over the weekend the Patriotic Front endorsing the UPND in the forthcoming election. What is going on? Why is the biggest opposition political party in the country endorsing the ruling party?
Wow, it's amazing that such a very important discourse and interview, you'd reduce it to us discussing and responding to society misfits. And just because President Hichilema has decided to make a fool of himself by taking charlatans and try to work with them to try and destabilize the opposition, which I think if you are journalists with your, I don't know whether I can say your salt or worth talking about, you know that Chabinga doesn't even need to grace this interview. And the 2-3 gentlemen that Nakachinda Hichilema continue to parade. What happened in Petauke should speak to you, should speak to our viewers. They are endorsing HH today. They endorsed a candidate, a parliamentary candidate, and lost. So if we go by Petauke standard, they can endorse HH as many times as they want. But I don't think there's anybody in the rightful, well-meaning Zambian that takes the actions of Mr. Nakachinda Hichilema serious, the sentiments of Chabinga and the rest serious. Actually, President Nakachinda Hichilema, I sympathize with him. He just made himself look like a fool in Chipata, because you gather crowns, they endorse you, maybe for personal aggrandizement. Then the president comes and says, I'm on my knees for endorsement from Chabinga. I may be using strong words like this because I think as a people in this country, there are certain things that we need, regardless of politics, just as a people should not tolerate.